Uganda's development partners call for a timely regional intervention for stability in the DRC. His Highness, the Aga Khan, passes away at 88. And police searches homes of Bank of Uganda money heist suspects. Good evening once again. Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, His Excellency, has urged police officers to always maintain patriotism, Pan-Africanism and professionalism during the execution of their duties. Museveni addressed police officers this Wednesday afternoon at Naguru Police Headquarters during the 28th Police Council meeting. We have the details.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni addressed this year's 28th Police Council at a session held at Naguru Police Headquarters.
So therefore, for the police force and the armed forces and the public service and the political class, the NRM pointed out this to you and said, you people, you must develop a police force, you must develop a UPDF, you must develop a civil service, a judiciary, which are patriotic, Pan-Africanist, because that's what you need. That's what we need in order to survive.
Museveni remarked that the worst experiences in the past involved forces that were not pro-Uganda, but rather those formed on the basis of tribes and individual interests.
Now, because of that, some of the things General Tafuri is talking about, like Artowiri, for them, the police force was always sectarian. Police force of the Achoris, police force of the Nubians, like that one, the Artowiris were Nubians. We rejected that. That's why ideologically, strategically, we said the recruitment must be by quota.
The event was graced by the Minister of Internal Affairs, General Kahinda Otafire, among other serving officers from the Uganda Police Force.
So, Your Excellency, all these heads can't be wrong. I want to give them an opportunity to sit among themselves and discuss what is wrong and right and give me a report which will guide my report to you.
The Inspector General of Police, Abbas Byakagaba, briefed the President on the performance of the force he leads.
The Police Council performs tasks related to recruitment and training, appointments and promotions, discipline, terms and conditions of service, equipment and supplies, policies, structure, and to ensure the force is of national character and composition.
Regarding the recent presidential guidelines for the police leadership, Byakagaba expressed his satisfaction by notifying the President about the progress made in line with their implementation.
In particular, Your Excellency, guided on the need to have police presence at the sub-counties to curb crime, expand on anti-crime infrastructure including CCTV, canine, and acquisition of new policing technologies, focus on education for children of police officers, and health of personnel, as well as ideological orientation to support economic prosperity.
According to the IGP, this progress has partly shaped the theme of the 28th Police Council session.
In line with this guidance, our theme for the 28th Police Council meeting is strengthening police capacity to address contemporary policing challenges for a safe and secure community.
The Police Council Convention is a significant event on the police calendar. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Uganda's development partners are concerned that the ongoing war crisis in Goma in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo would lead to more refugees coming into Uganda. Now, in their joint statement today during the National Partnership Forum chaired by the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabanja, they called for a speedy regional intervention geared towards a sustainable peace and stability in the DRC.
The recent volatile war situation in the city of Goma in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo is a growing concern not only to the government of Uganda, but also to her development partners. This morning, the Office of the Prime Minister met the development partners to Uganda under their umbrella body, the National Partnership Forum, where they expressed concerns about the crisis in Congo.
We follow the rapidly unfolding crisis in eastern DRC around Goma with great concern, and we note the risk that this would lead to more refugees coming to Uganda. As crucial path to sustainable peace and stability,
the National Partnership Forum, chaired by the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabanja, and co-chaired by the Swedish Ambassador to Uganda, Maria Hakansson, is a platform through which government of Uganda engages with development partners to facilitate coordination in order to increase the effectiveness of development assistance given to Uganda.
The people in our villages deserve the very best services that we, as a government and development community, can offer. Today's discussion have reaffirmed the importance of collaboration, strategic investment, and bold reforms to drive Uganda's progress.
The Minister for Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Engineer Ronek, proposed that the regional countries should form a joint refugee policy to enable them to have equal distribution of refugees rather than leaving the burden to Uganda alone.
Our neighboring countries and us should have similar policies on refugees that would enable the at least the refugees distribution to be equitably distributed in the region, other than all lumping them in. All of them are in Uganda now because our policy is very friendly.
Currently, Uganda is hosting about 1.7 million refugees, and with the ongoing crisis in Congo, the situation would worsen.
The World Food Programme has significantly reduced funding, slashing monthly food assistance to refugees from $6 per month to now $3 per month. This poses a significant threat to the food security of refugees.
A cross-section of ministers, ambassadors, and heads of development agencies also participated in today's partnership forum.
It's very, very important that we invest to multiply than to give donations. We can give donations, but for food will never be enough.
The environment they live in must be protected sustainably for continuity. For me, this is really in the middle of all our interventions, all other efforts.
The Prime Minister also urged the development partners to support Uganda's 4th National Development Plan, which focuses on agro-industrialization, tourism, mineral-based industrial development, as well as science and technology and innovation.
It is imperative that this forum goes beyond discussions and translates into impactful actions.
It is a call for action through strategic partnerships and complementarity. The primary drivers for the implementation of the plan will be and are Ugandans, and we are steadfast and ready to support the work of the people of Uganda.
The participants acknowledged Uganda's long-standing commitment to hosting refugees, which is supported by generous contributions.
The First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Mrs. Janet Museveni, has received the Education Policy Review Report which contains findings and recommendations for a new government white paper on education and sports services in Uganda. Mrs. Museveni received the report from the commission lead led by Chairperson Honorable Retired Colonel Nue Amanya Mushega during a special Ministry of Education and Sports top management meeting at State House.
The main function of the Education Policy Review Commission is to draft a new macro policy framework for education and sports.
The report, themed Education for Values, Innovation and Transformation, represents 3.5 years of work by the Education Policy Review Commission, established under Legal Notice Number 5 of 2021 and launched by Mrs. Janet Museveni in May 2021.
As most of you may recall, on 10th May 2021, I launched the Education Policy Review Commission and gave them the overall mandate of inquiring into the effectiveness and relevance of the existing education policy and whether these policies were adequate in the achievement of the current education and sports needs of users and goals of the government to realize the Vision 2040 of transforming to a modern and prosperous country.
She noted that the report's recommendations will offer the government various policy options to catalyze national transformation through the education and sports sector.
Well, after receiving and reading the report, we shall constitute a team that will now take this report, study it, and analyze the recommendations being proposed. That team will put together a draft government white paper for education and sports with proposals of what government should adopt as policy options. I will then present the draft government white paper to Cabinet for consideration, and once passed, we shall then say that we have a new government white paper for education and sports. Thank you for laying your brick on this building called Uganda. Thank you for laying a new foundation for the generations to come, because education is very instrumental in the development of any society.
Mrs. Museveni expressed gratitude to the public participants and the benchmark countries Ethiopia, Finland, Kenya, Rwanda, South Korea, Tanzania, and Vietnam for their cooperation. Honorable Amanya Mushega reported that the Commission identified several education challenges and proposed 284 recommendations in the final EPRC report. He noted that while access to education had improved notably, quality remained challenging. The Commission's overall policy direction aims to consolidate education access while enhancing quality.
Honorable Minister, I wish to inform you that we made many recommendations. The first one is early childhood education and basic education, skilling of our children, so to start right from the beginning, so that by the time the children complete their senior 4 or basic education, they will be well groomed with better attitudes, better character. School feeding was a matter that arose from all corners of Uganda. Technical and vocational education has been critically analyzed, and we think it should be linked to industry and be part and parcel of the educational system of this country. Teacher education, teacher training, teacher facilitation, and teacher management is a key critical precondition to having an education system. What is the name?
The submitted report includes several attachments, stakeholders' memoranda, public hearing findings, nationwide consultation results, benchmarking studies, analysis of education performance against the 1992 White Paper, and a comprehensive review of Uganda's education, training, and sports system. Reporting for UBC, Baguma William.
Thank you, Baguma William, for that report. Now, in some sad news, His Highness the Aga Khan has passed away at the age of 88. Prince Karim Aga Khan IV, the spiritual leader of millions of Muslims worldwide, will be remembered for his 6 decades of leadership of the Ismaili Muslims, remarkable business acumen and philanthropy. Now, as Dennis Segor reports, Uganda has been a major beneficiary of the Aga Khan Foundation's foreign direct investments.
The death of His Highness the Aga Khan is significant for over 15 million Ismailis across 35 countries. The Aga Khan was a jet-setting entrepreneurial billionaire and philanthropist who invested millions of dollars into helping people in some of the most impoverished parts of the world. In Uganda, the Aga Khan Foundation has made multi-million-dollar investments across various sectors of the economy. This includes Serena Hotels, the Nation Media, which owns NTV Uganda and the Daily Monitor, Bujagali Hydropower Plant in Jinja, Diamond Trust Bank, Aga Khan High School, among others. Prince Shah Karim Al Hussein, the Aga Khan, believed in creating opportunities so that people could take control of their lives.
I'm here today as the Chancellor of the Aga Khan University, and it is in this role that I can officially announce the establishment of an Aga Khan University hospital in Kampala.
In his recent visit to Uganda to witness the groundbreaking ceremony of the Aga Khan University Hospital in Nakawa, Kampala, His Highness the Aga Khan emphasized the importance of investment in higher education and healthcare.
Higher education and science are 2 of the most important factors in development. And Africa requires to have institutions that will assist in the development of those resources.
His sentiments were echoed by President Yoweri Museveni, who presided over the launch. Museveni lauded the Aga Khan and the Ismailia Muslims for their business acumen and contribution towards Uganda's development.
I want to take this opportunity to salute His Highness personally, but also salute the Ismailia community. The two have contributed to filling the deficit of entrepreneurship in Uganda and in East Africa.
The late Prince Shah Karim Al Hussein was the 49th hereditary Imam of the Shia Ismaili Muslims. At Uganda's 55th independence celebrations, His Highness the Aga Khan was honored with the award of the Most Excellent Order of the Pearl of Africa, the Grand Master.
His Excellency now is decorating His Highness the Aga Khan with the Most Excellent Order of the Pearl of Africa.
The award is the highest honor to be awarded to heads of state and heads of government by the NRM government. The Aga Khan held British, French, Swiss and Portuguese citizenship.
May his soul rest in peace. Now, in more news this evening, the government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Health, has confirmed its commitment and readiness to control and combat the Ebola epidemic in the country. Now, speaking to the media in Mbale City, Dr. Jane Ruth Echeng, the Minister of Health, stated that the government has built institutional capacities to address all forms of epidemics for the safety of Ugandans. She urged citizens to support these efforts by providing information on suspected cases to prevent the further spread of the virus.
Government has expressed its commitment to controlling the Ebola epidemic and urged Ugandans to partner with the Ministry of Health by reporting any suspected Ebola cases in their communities.
We need the community to be vigilant so that we can pick out the cases from the communities. Outbreaks start in the communities and end in the communities. And so we need the communities to rise up and, be vigilant and say we don't want Ebola in our community. So we are going to educate one another and we are going to weed out all suspicious cases to the facilities, and Ebola will end, just like it ended in Kasanda and Mubende.
Speaking to the media shortly after a closed-door meeting with stakeholders at Maluku Council Hall, the minister explained the symptoms of Ebola virus and urged community members to be on the lookout.
What is Ebola? A viral infection that presents with a fever, joint pains, general malaise, bleeding from the body openings, the mouth, the nose, the gums, you name it, the anus, any body opening. And when you see such a presentation, please report to the nearest health facility.
Minister Acheng also described how an indexed Ebola case moved from Mbale to other areas and urged community members to remain vigilant and collaborate with health workers in reporting any suspected cases.
Index case visited Mbale, visited the regional hospital, and visited a traditional healer here in Mbale. I don't know where. You are the people who know. But you're also aware that the index case died in Mulago. You're also aware that the children visited Jinja and some of the other clinics that he visited. So those are the areas that we are following up. Only those areas are areas of concern. However, we encourage the rest of the country to remain on alert and remain vigilant.
The minister has challenged the communities to allow specialized teams to handle burial arrangements for persons confirmed to have succumbed to Ebola.
Let the burial teams take control and bury the dead. Do not exhume bodies that have been buried. Do not exhume bodies for whatever purpose, because that body is highly infectious, and you will spread infection to the community when you make that mistake.
The Ministry of Health has urged the public to observe standard operating procedures to curb the spread of Ebola. Helen Barbara and Muhammad Iga for UBC TV News.
The Ministry of Works and Transport is facing an outstanding obligation of 1.3 trillion inherited from the Uganda National Roads Authority after mainstreaming the entity. Appearing before the Budget Committee of Parliament, the Minister for Works and Transport, General Katumba Wamala, cites how the debt accumulated from interests that are put in the interim payment certificates. It was discovered that on rationalizing UNRA, the entity did not lay off its staff, creating a deficit of 18 billion to pay off staff in this current financial year 2024-2025.
The Ministry of Works and Transport has appeared before the Budget Committee on the revision of work plans for institutions affected under the rationalization of government agencies. The Minister, General Katumba Wamala, presented to the committee some of the challenges affected in the transition period.
Today I saw workers on Muyembe na Kapriprit under strike because the contractor had not paid them. So there are all those kind of challenges which we have and which we need to address as fast as possible.
On rationalizing Uganda National Roads Authority into the Ministry of Works and Transport, the Minister highlighted a 1.3 trillion debt hindering operations.
The debt is really eating up to the marrow now, because we are talking about 1.3 trillion of unpaid debts, and some of that is the money which we want to be moved because it was under UNRA and the contracts are ongoing. So what has happened is that most of the contractors have actually laid down tools.
The officials explained why the staff at UNRA were not laid off.
What you have done is you carry the whole road fund people and change the address to the ministry headquarters. You also go to UNRA and say, you people, they have changed us to go and be at the ministry. Let's all go.
This prompted some members of parliament to ask for the recruitment plan from the ministry's administration.
You are giving some people short-term contracts You have taken on the big boys, I see them here. But there are people out there. So what is your plan for them?
However, the minister responded to the claims, citing how there is a work in progress with the public service on allocation of staff.
We discussed with those development partners. One of the things they were very strong about is that on the ongoing projects which they fund, the project implementation units must remain for continuity. So we had to give those people temporary contracts because otherwise they were going to stop the funding. Good. So some of these are things which is work in progress, and I think after we finish with public service, then we shall come back and say how many exactly are we taking on.
On issues regarding the Karuma Bridge, Minister Katumba Wamala provided an update.
Now, our technical team are still doing technical examinations to see whether they can fix those expansion joints as vehicles continue crossing, or whether it will require some days of crossing for the joints to be fixed, and then the bridge will be opened.
Lydia Chomkama and Gloria Gutaminji, Parliament.
UBC News tonight. Now, Parliament has allowed government to revise the work plans for institutions affected by the recent rationalization of government agencies and public expenditure. The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development is to reallocate the respective budget for financial year 2024-2025 for the MDAs. Now, the Thursday session tasked government to expedite and allow the resupply accordingly. Now, the move by Parliament is prescribed under the Public Finance Management Act 2015.
Parliament faced a rare struggle to approve a motion to give way for government to reallocate the budget for financial year 2024-2025. This is in the vein that the administrative costs associated with the agencies, which were recently rationalized, have highly strained the national treasury, forcing government to stretch beyond its capacity to sustain them.
What about the following that were also rationalized? That's the question I was asking before this motion was brought, and I have listed them. Accepting to process the 13 today, you will be asked to process others in a piecemeal manner.
Topping the strain remains the additional salary structures caused by disparities. The report of the Budget Committee indicated how the Civil Registration Services Department, which held the vote of 119, was transferred to vote 137 of the National Identification Registration Authority. Accordingly, this registered a shortfall of about 436 million due to high salary scale of NIRA.
The committee was informed that whereas available wage transfers to NIRA from URSB amounts to 323.6, NIRA requires 760. That's what they required. This has resulted into a shortfall of 436.
Being a move to reallocate votes, the MPs wondered how the deficit would be addressed. This forced the Deputy Speaker Thomas Tayebwa to suspend the House to allow a consensus.
The minister can only warrant money provided for under the Appropriation Act and the schedules to the Appropriation Act.
NIRA has realized that there is a shortfall and we had not foreseen it, or the money is insufficient, which falls under the realm of supplementary budget. So in dealing with this motion, Mr. Speaker, we should confine ourselves to transfer of money already voted. If the minister thereafter finds that there is a shortage in the new mandate, the minister can then come here.
After you have done the allocation, then you go to appropriation. I don't know where this debate is coming from.
After Parliament resolved to give way to the government to proceed with the reallocation, but to consider the necessary guidelines, including supply.
We are going to, because of the urgency of the matter, we are going to work throughout the night line by line. We'll analyze vote by vote. And tomorrow we shall come here in the afternoon with our proposals on how, on where we would like to move this money.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Here's your chance to win school fees for your child for a whole year. Just pay school fees using Momo. Dial *165 *80 hash. Select option 2 for school pay. Select option 1 to pay school fees. Enter the student number and amount and approve the transaction. You are now entered a draw to win school fees.
Looking for instant excitement? The Uganda National Lottery Spin for Cash game is now available online. Wherever you are, you can join the excitement for just 500, 1,000 and 2,000 Uganda shillings. Don't miss out. Register now on www.nationallottery.go.ug for a chance to win your share of 2 billion instantly. What are you waiting for? Play Spin for Cash now, anytime, anywhere. Ituba is the proud operator of the Uganda National Lottery.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312 206 400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort and pride with Royal Foam Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels, and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukoto Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the first floor.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still with us here at UBC News Tonight. Now, in more news this evening, in relation to the recent Bank of Uganda money heist, police have carried out searches at the residences of key suspects believed to be involved in the theft of 60 billion shillings. The search warrants targeted the Accountant General, Lauryn Masika, and Dr. Mark Kasiku, a senior official at the Ministry of Finance, and others. These individuals are under investigation in relation to the suspicious transfer and loss of the funds. This investigation arose from the discovery that the Bank of Uganda, through an apparent error, transferred a total of 60 billion shillings to accounts that were not authorized. These funds were reportedly deposited into incorrect accounts, which were traced to locations in Japan and the United Kingdom. The exact circumstances surrounding the error and how these accounts were accessed are still unclear, but the police continue with investigations to uncover the details. Now, the suspects are detained at various police stations within Kampala. We were unable to obtain a comment from the Uganda Police Force on this development. However, court newsroom desk has ascertained that the suspect will be arraigned before the courts of law this week. Now, Dr. Kizza Besigye's wife, Winnie Byanyima, has asked High Court to issue orders compelling the Attorney General and the Commissioner General of Prisons to unconditionally release her husband and his co-accused Haji Obed Lutale from Luzira Prison. Byanyima, in her affidavit, based her suit on the recent Supreme Court decision, alleging that she doesn't see any reason why her husband and co-accused are still under detention, yet the court's decision was very clear. We have the details.
In the decision by the justices of the Supreme Court last week, court declared the General Court Martial's jurisdictions of trying civilians as unconstitutional on account that the facility is a tribunal made to only try disciplinary offences committed by men and women in military uniform serving. In the orders of the Supreme Court justices, they ordered all pending files in the General Court Martial, referred as the tribunal, to be transferred to the civilian courts through the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions.
All the inmates who are under the trial in the General Court Martial, all their matters are now under the jurisdiction of the courts of judicature. The Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs is also advised to immediately commence consideration of the recommendations of the Supreme Court.
Whereas government seems to be consenting to the Supreme Court's ruling, according to the principal legal advisor to government, the Attorney General, in his presentation on the floor of Parliament last evening, after closed-the-door meeting engagement, retired Dr. Kizza Besigye and his aide Obed Lutale's legal team, they had contrary feedback from the prisons.
That person should be released immediately because the court always says unless otherwise lawfully held.
But unfortunately, they claim their hands are tied.
In what seemed to be a new play out on the scene today, Dr. Kizza Besigye's wife, Winnie Byanyima, has asked court to issue an order compelling the Attorney General's office and the Commissioner General of Prisons to unconditionally release his husband and his co-accused, Haji Obed Lutale, from Luzira Government Prison.
I brought an application before the court, and a second one will be filed later today in the case of Aaron Chisa, to enable warrants to be issued, warrants of release, in the names of these persons. It would have been unnecessary if the Attorney General had completed his duty of telling the prisons, release anybody whose warrant has expired.
So as we speak, Dr. Johnson Byabashija and team are holding on to those people together with hundreds of other supporters of the opposition, particularly in NUP and other parties, as well as soldiers who are languishing in custody.
In an affidavit, the case filed by her legal team, Byanyima contends that her husband, Dr. Kizza Besigye, and Haji Obed Lutale, currently held illegally by Luzira Government Prison, following the Supreme Court decision that banned the trial of civilians by the military court.
Because as you are aware, the Attorney General declined to give us a copy of that communication. He only stated, and we took it as a verifiable fact. So we came to verify, and it is true. It's confirmed that he wrote to the Chief Justice, but we have again not been able to access a copy of that communication. Probably it would have enabled us to see if there are discrepancies that we need to highlight or to clarify.
Byanyima also revealed that the continued detention of the two infringes on their right to liberty as guaranteed under Article 20, 21, and 23 of the Constitution of Uganda as amended.
We are concerned that there is continued delay in implementing the orders of the Supreme Court of the land. Since Friday, 31st January 2025, Dr. Besigye, Haji Obed Kamlegea continue to languish in prison illegally because there is no legal or valid warrant against them.
we take exception to that practice where now Dr. Besigye, Obed Lutale and others are being remanded on orders of the one and only Kiwanuka Chiriowa Nsumikambi as the Attorney General. So the Attorney General has arrogated himself those powers.
She now wants High Court to issue an habeas corpus to produce Dr. Kizza Besigye and Obed Lutale dead or alive.
My appeal to the authorities in Uganda, the Supreme Court rendered a precedent-setting judgment, which confirms the obvious that Uganda, as a constitutional democracy, follows the rule of law. Do not paint a different picture by delaying the release of the people who ought to be released, and in particular, the release of Dr. Kizza Besigye, Obed Lutale.
Retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye and his co-accused, Haji Obed Lutale, were meant to appear at the General Court Martial on Monday this week. However, this was impossible following the Supreme Court decision. At the General Court Martial, Dr. Kizza Besigye and Lutale were remanded on charges of treachery and unlawful possession of firearms and ammunition. Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nansubuga, UBC News.
The National Resistance Movement Party has flagged off a delegation from the United Democratic Alliance Party of Kenya to the Chankwanzi National Leadership Institute, who are back in the country for a cooperation and benchmarking tour. The delegation was received this Wednesday morning at the NRM Party Secretariat in Kampala by the party's Secretary General, Right Honorable Richard Todwong.
Members of the United Democratic Alliance Party from Kenya have once again returned to Kampala for a cooperation and benchmarking visit.
But now we are back in Kampala seeking knowledge and strategies of how UDA can cement itself as a political party and eventually leave the kind of tests that Honorable SG has talked about.
The 19-man delegation, which arrived in Uganda on the night of Tuesday, 4th February 2025, is being led by Senator Hassan Omar Hassan, the UDA Party Secretary General.
So we are looking forward to a very progressive couple of days here and a wealth of knowledge and experiences that we can transfer back home.
Thank him so much for leading this delegation, and yeah, let's continue sharing.
Received this morning at NRM Secretariat by Right Honorable Richard Todwong, the Kenyan delegation is here to draw insights from Uganda and NRM's success stories.
The Chankwanzi school you are going to has helped us a lot. It became a leadership institute in about 2001, but before that, it was where we used to take our cadres for retreat. Every time we are faced with the political challenges, our history is different. It's not like that of Kenya. Because of the challenges we had in our history, we decided to make sure that we do a lot of political sensitization and education to help especially the leaders and our population.
The two parties stress that such collaborations are not only crucial for development, but also influential for political and financial integration.
We are here majorly to learn on a few issues to do with leadership and governance. NRM, having been a party that has been there for 40 years and been in government for 40 years, is not a walk in the park.
The gist of it is sharing experiences, living along the joke of the 40 years, but we feel that progressive parties in Africa and East Africa in particular have to share progressive ideas for the betterment of our people.
There is a new generation coming up, and we are very proud of our president and our national chairman, that he has mentored us, he has guided us, and he is still very strong and stable.
The 6-day working visit for UDA members in Uganda will, among other activities, include attending lectures at Nali, interacting with the President of Uganda, and visiting key strategic locations. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
State Minister for Land, Dr. Sam Mayanja, along with Senior Presidential Assistant for General Duties, Fiona Barungi, visited Chato village in Budimbo, Chiboga district. The visit was aimed at resolving a contentious land dispute between Keti Nampa, an elderly woman, and Byabagambe Francis.
Attended by local residents and security officials, both parties were invited to present their claims of ownership. Upon review, Minister Mayanja uncovered discrepancies in the documents provided by Mr. Byabagambe, which contradicted his statements.
Without referring the matter to court or land tribunal, the commissioner has power to take such steps as are necessary to give effect to this act.
Declaring fraud, the minister ordered the immediate arrest of Mr. Byabagambe and his associates. He further directed authorities to restore Mrs. Nampa to her land, ensuring her safety and peace of mind.
Basiri yakola trespass agogona criminal charges akwatibwe njagala akwatibwe.
Shortly after leaving the district, Fiona Barungi received intelligence indicating a plot involving local police to re-evict Mrs. Nampa. Determined to prevent further injustice, Barungi remained on the land, accompanied by soldiers to monitor the situation.
Nti muri rudawa muba meeting, yes, meeting eba date yanti, meeting eba de wait, mukade tumulesa to the ground. Temo implementing a chona.
The tension escalated when Chiboga RDC Moses Mugumba arrived with security forces allegedly acting under orders to evict the elderly woman. Stepping out of her vehicle, Barungi confronted the RDC and his officers, demanding to know who had issued the orders.
We
are instructed.
Act of telling me munamaje mukule yakubye nagambye I cannot sleep. I must know that person mubulire muzeyi atugambe uya ayingira atya mu byamata.
The RDC eventually admitted wrongdoing and contacted Mr. Mayanja for clarification. Over the phone, Minister Mayanja reaffirmed his directive to protect the elderly woman's rights. He ordered the RDC and police officers to seize any evictions attempts and enforce his original decision.
Honorable, I register my apology. One, that let us not undo whatever left behind is higher level consultation.
Fiona Barungi condemned the misuse of official positions to oppress vulnerable residents. She expressed her gratitude to Minister Mayanja for his unwavering commitment to justice and vowed to continue advocating for the rights of the oppressed.
Kanzena soka wano ne DPC na RDC ne tuwa mchare taka. Ne babanga tebabisa mukitiibwa. Nende tata nsingako namuwe taka nakyo ne bakigana tubate tukola. Nze nsubira president eyatuwa emirimu. Kino kyayagala tukole kyenkoze olwaleero.
Keti Nampa expressed heartfelt gratitude to Fiona Barungi and the minister for their intervention. Kayen Faith, Jamil Sekaja for UBC.
The Federation for Democratic Change, FDC, has unveiled Muchiri Sadat, commonly known as Khalifa Aganaga, as its aspirant candidate for the Kawempe North Member of Parliament seat. Now, this announcement comes ahead of the forthcoming Kawempe North by-elections and the 2026 general elections.
The Federation for Democratic Change has finally announced its aspirant candidate for Kawempe North membership and Kazoa Angola councillorship.
Sadat Muchiri emerged victorious to represent the Forum for Democratic Change parliamentary elections in the Kawempe North. For Councillor Kazo Angola is Mr. Sevunya Sharif.
Muchibi Sadat, also known as Khalifa Aganaga, a renowned musician, has gained popularity in Uganda for his successful music career. The FDC party president Patrick Amriat expressed confidence that Aganaga is the right candidate to secure the Kawempe North seat for the party.
Below those dreadlocks is a person of competence, an eloquent leader, a foresighted leader, one that is good for Uganda, one that is good for Kawempe North.
Robert Centenary, the FDC representative for the Western region, re-echoed the president's sentiments, stating that Muchibi has great potential to provide effective leadership to the residents of Kawempe.
The people of Kawempe made a decisive decision to hand the position of Member of Parliament to the ghetto. But I think we have the best of the best.
Muchibi emphasized his commitment to delivering justice to the people of Kawempe North.
But I managed to prosper in the music industry, as disorganized as it is. According to that experience, because I believe in me, I'm a leader inside, I am the right person to be the Member of Parliament for Kawempe North.
The event was witnessed by the party's Electoral Commission chairperson, who oversaw the signing of the commitment form by the aspirant candidate. Cayenne Faith, Crispus Arinitwe for UBC.
From music to politics. All right, now in more news this evening, Honorable Jacob Oboth, the Minister for Defence and Veteran Affairs, has commissioned the Outpatient Department OPD block at Ndoro Health Centre in Kabira Sub-County, Chotera District. This milestone marks the conclusion of the Tarehe Sita Army Week exercise in Greater Masaka districts. As part of the exercise, the UPDF has been engaged in various community development projects in Greater Masaka districts. Now, the commissioning of the OPD block is a testament to the UPDF's commitment to improving the lives of Ugandans.
UPDF officers, local leaders and community members gathered at Ndoro Health Center in Kabira Sub-County, Chotera District, at the event that marked the conclusion of the Army Week exercise. The OPD block at Ndoro Health Center has been officially commissioned in the ceremony attended by Honorable Oboth, the Minister of Defence and Veteran Affairs, and the Permanent Secretary of the Minister of Defence.
Commission this building in the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. We remember 44 years ago when a group of gallant sons of Uganda, led by father of the revolution, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, set out on a mission of launching a protracted people's war. Stands tall as a beacon of hope.
Bannaffe, eggwanga lya Uganda, ensi Uganda, eyimiridde.
Prosperity and above all as a vanguard of regional and continuous stability.
Mubeera bazira kisa ne mugamba katugende ekyotera district eno abamanyi history entale ezisinga obungi ezibadde zijja mu ggwanga muno ziyita Mutukula, ziyita Nangoma. District eno yetwala Mutukula, yetwala Nangoma.
Ennaku nnyingi ze tucelebratinga ez'abakyala, ez'abavubuka n'endala nnyingi, naye luno ddwo lwanjawulo. Tarehe Sita lwaki lwanjawulo? Kubanga amagye gano gava mu ffe okulwanira eggwanga, okuzzaawo emirembe, ate nga twagayambako. N'olwekyo kakati bwabakuza amazaalibwa gaabwe g'amagye bakiteekawo ng'enkola okuddiza bannansi.
This event was a culmination of various community development projects undertaken by UPDF. The closing ceremony featured speeches from local leaders, UPDF officials and community members, highlighting the importance of collaboration and mutual support. The main event of Tarehe Sita will indeed be celebrated tomorrow at Kasasa Playgrounds in Chotera district, with President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni as the guest of honor. Haruna Mutesasira, reporting for ABC News in Chotera district.
The Lions Club of Uganda District 411B is set to host the immediate international president of the Lions Club International, Dr. Patty Hill, here in Uganda. The president's visit is intended to, among others, monitor various projects carried out by the Lions Club of Uganda and interest more members to join the Lions Club.
Dr. Patty Hill will officially launch several key projects spearheaded by the Lions Club of Uganda District 411B. These include childhood cancer pharmacy at Mulago Hospital and the eye clinic at Nsambia Hospital, among others.
She will commission a multi-million shilling project, which is the childhood cancer pharmacy in Mulago Hospital, Ward 5A. This is a place where cancer drugs are stored, mixed, and dispensed, as you may well know that cancer drugs are dangerous. After that, she will move with us to Nsambia, St. Francis Nsambia Hospital, where we have put up, again, a multi-million eye clinic within that hospital called Nsambia Comprehensive Eye Care Center, after which on Monday she will take a locally chartered plane to Karamoja, where again we have activities going on, and these are supported by Lions Clubs International Foundation. This is the school-going children feeding program in Karamoja.
District Governor Lion Benon Katate emphasizes that Dr. Hill's visit is a significant milestone for Uganda, particularly as the club looks to expand its membership base.
The focus is on Africa, to have more lions, because Africa is still a dependent continent compared to other continents, and so they would want as many lions to come on board so that they solve some of the burning problems in their communities. But also importantly, Uganda is one of the fastest growing districts in terms of Lions clubs. We have over 2,100 members in 56 clubs, and this year alone we are looking forward to have 10 new clubs with an addition of about 200 to 300 new members. And also again, it's on record with our international association that we are managing these Lions Club International funded or supported projects very well.
Dr. Hill's visit will conclude with a visit to Karamoja region, where she will engage with local stakeholders, district officials and farmers to discuss sustainable food production initiatives.
Lionism is also about empowerment and creating change. To empower farmers in Karamoja to produce foodstuffs so that they can create sustainability of food supplies for themselves as a population. And one of the crops being grown is the orange potato, which has been well researched in laboratories in Uganda and can survive in harsh, dry environment.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Lillian! Lily flower!
So small seed.
The cedar bus of beauty, the power bank of my heart, the sugar of my milk tea.
I'm glad you're here. Today buy for us some chicken.
No problem. You can eat whatever you want. I had already ordered. How much?
122.
122? Now, what if I take this one and this one? And can I also borrow this one? How much now?
When your money is not enough, don't hassle. We're sorting it with MTN Momo. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# to add call with Momo Advance and pay.
Agriculture is Uganda's economic backbone, employing about 70% of the working population and contributing 20% of the GDP. As the world becomes a digital global village, ICT has proven to increase productivity in the agricultural value chain. UPDF, through its Strategic Plan 3, recognizes the importance of access and usage of ICT-based tools, information and knowledge for farmers by providing them the needed skills to live, learn, work and participate in a digital society.
We came up with...
You're actually making Valentine's a farming expo.
No, I'm turning it into our future.
Oh, thank you. But this, I agree. Love.
Agree, love.
These Valentines, forget the cliches. Grow something real at the Harvest Money Expo, February 14th to 16th at Nambole Stadium. Learn innovative ways to boost your produce, adopt more efficient methods and gain access to new markets. Tickets are just 10,000 shillings per day, with training sessions also at 10,000 shillings each.
Welcome back from that break, and now into business. 2 people have driven away with 2 brand new Mitsubishi Canter trucks. The winners, one from Kampala and Mbarara, participated in the just concluded Vivo Energy's new lubricant campaign. The grand prize giveaway in Boise, a Kampala suburb, brought business to a standstill. Let's have a look.
We partnered with the drivers, the commercial drivers, that helped us to boost our sales. And when we opened this competition, it's a competition that we are happy that we rewarded a lot of drivers. Over 5,000 plus drivers got a lot of offers in terms of fuel, food tanks, lubricants, and several others. So today is the last day where we are closing out the competition.
When we heard the cry of our customers in terms of how heavy the oil is and what they required, we landed Rimla R3X for specifically those vehicles, and we are glad to say that the customers are very happy with them, with the oil. So today we are privileged to reward our customers that are commercial customers, because we understand the value of their vehicles and what they do for us and what they need to optimize the service of these vehicles. So today we are privileged to hand over two canters to 2 privileged customers who have been using our oil to service their vehicles.
How much have you invested in this campaign and why Canter?
The campaign has taken a bit of our money. I think it has cost us over 200 million Uganda shillings. But I think why? Because we understand that the economy runs a lot on these commercial vehicles, and we appreciate the constraints they go through, especially with our road infrastructure. They need a better oil, and a stronger oil, and heavier for that matter, because they need to optimize and make more money as they go around their business.
And with that, UBC News Tonight has come to an end. Thank you so much for your company. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto, and my colleague on sign language, Yusuf Senyamo. We do wish you a good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
The Uganda Human Rights Commission, UHRC, established under Article 51 of Uganda's Constitution, protects and promotes human rights through receiving, investigating, and holding tribunals to award damages for human rights violations, conducting research, civic education, monitoring detention centers, government compliance with treaty obligations, and presents an annual human rights report to Parliament. As part of its advocacy strategy, the UHRC last year commemorated the International Human Rights Day on 10th December under the theme, reducing inequalities in the enforcement of environmental rights and mitigating the impact of environmental degradation in Uganda. Activities included a press conference led by Chairperson Honorable Mariam Wagadia, TV and radio talk shows, a newspaper supplement. The main event was a high-level public dialogue at Golf Course Hotel with the third Deputy Prime Minister, Right Honorable Rukia Isanga Nakadama, as a chief guest. Key stakeholders in attendance included the EU Deputy Ambassador to Uganda, the UN Women Country Representative, the Japanese Ambassador to Uganda, representatives of heads of government ministries, departments and agencies. The dialogue focused on advocating for environmental rights. It was supported by various partners.
Looking for instant excitement? The Uganda National Lottery Spin for Cash game is now available online. Wherever you are, you can join the excitement for just 500, 1,000 and 2,000 Uganda shillings. Don't miss out. Register now on www.nationallottery.go.ug for a chance to win your share of 2 billion instantly. What are you waiting for? Play Spin for Cash now, anytime, anywhere. Ituba is the proud operator of the Uganda National Lottery.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Here's your chance to win school fees for your child for a whole year. Just pay school fees using Momo. Dial *165 *80#. Select option 2 for school pay. Select option 1 to pay school fees. Enter the student number and amount and approve the transaction. You will now enter the draw to win school fees.
What's your plan for Valentine's? And no, don't say the farm stuff.
All right, but just hear me out. What if I told you that I can grow you something better than roses?
Better than roses? Okay, I want to hear this. You're actually making Valentine's a farming expo.
No, I'm turning it into our future.
Oh, thank you. But this, I agree. Love.
Agree, love.
These Valentines, forget the cliches. Grow something real at the Harvest Money Expo, February 14th to 16th at Nambole Stadium. Learn innovative ways to boost your produce, adopt more efficient methods and gain access to new markets. Tickets are just 10,000 shillings per day, with training sessions also at 10,000 shillings each.
On Thursday, 6th February 2025, Greater Masaka region will host the 44th Tarehe Sita anniversary celebrations. Tarehe Sita commemorates the launch of the National Resistance Army's liberation struggle on 6th February 1981. The annual event is organized by the government and the Uganda People's Defense Forces UPDF. It aims to honor the spirit of community partnership and Pan-African solidarity. The anniversary will be celebrated under the theme Celebrating Pan-African Solidarity and the People's Sacrifice in Struggle for Freedom and Democracy for Socio-Economic Transformation. Join us on UBC TV Thursday 6th February as we relay the celebrations in real time.